Most people think that they struggle because they lose motivation, but motivation was never meant to carry your life. It's a spark, it's not the fuel. So if you've ever felt excited to start something and then watch that excitement fade, today's 15-minute reset's going to help you understand why that happens and what actually keeps you moving forward. So we're going to dive in here and talk about motivation, right? So think about times in your life where you've got a goal in mind and then you're like, let's say you sign up for a boot camp, or let's say you sign up for like a 4-week, let's just say January, let's say our series that we're doing in January. And it's like, oh, it's intriguing at the beginning. And you're like, oh, I've got to show up. I'm really going to do this. I'm going to set this time aside every single Saturday. And then as maybe the Saturdays start coming, we might be a little bit less motivated to jump on, or like, it's not as exciting, or whatever. Hopefully this is going to be super exciting for you guys. So, but just compared to something that you've done in the past, okay? I want you guys to think about motivation as seasons or locations. I'm going to give you a different perspective because that's what I do. And we're going to try to start looking at this a little bit differently, okay? Because different locations, different seasons are going to need different kinds of support, right? Would you agree? So we're going to take, and I apologize, I've got a frog in my throat this morning, so sorry for that. But we're going to take a little mini quiz right now, and I want you to think about what feels familiar to you, okay? Thinking about your goal can sometimes feel heavy instead of exciting. So think about one goal in mind that we're going to be talking about so you can kind of see this through. Or you're waiting to feel motivated again, right? Maybe small steps feel harder than expected. Maybe you feel behind even though it's still early in the year. And maybe you start questioning yourself instead of thinking about a strategy, like, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this working? Why can't I keep it together? Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 common motivation locations. And I just want you guys to kind of find yourself in this. Let's kind of think about maybe past goals that maybe you've kind of given up on. So location number 1 is going to be excitement. That's going to be when you're really excited, you're committed, you've got high energy, you've got these great ideas, these big intentions. It's usually in early January, right? Or the beginning of a challenge, or wherever that is for you. It's where motivation feels very easy and your dopamine is high. Everything feels possible, right? You guys can remember that feeling? Now, location 2 is going to be where there's friction. And that's where your energy dips and maybe doubt starts showing up, and then things start feeling heavier. Like, I just don't think I've got what it takes, right? And this is where most people might be right now, January 10th instead of January 1st, okay? This is the phase where most people think that they have failed, but really they're just entering real life, right? Things happen, things derail us, a priority shift. So I'm hoping today that we're going to start looking at this with more structure instead of emotion. You're going to hear me talking about that a lot. Okay, then location 3 is stability. All right, there's less excitement, but there's more steadiness. And this is where structure is going to matter more than your feelings about what you're moving forward towards. This is where we want to be in the stability phase. This is where the sustainable change is going to actually live and where things are going to start happening for you. So I want you guys to ask yourself a question. Given where you are right now, what would actually support you in moving forward? Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I want to talk about the science of dopamine. Okay, and I want you to understand, when we give up on our goals, sometimes we look at it as failure or another failure or here I go again. If we can just make one shift today, and that's to start saying that, oh, you know what? It's not that I'm a failure. This is science. Let's take a look at my dopamine. Like, what's happening here? Okay? Because motivation is driven by dopamine. And dopamine's going to spike with novelty, with new ideas, with excitement. And dopamine's going to decline as things start getting familiar and dull. Okay? So fading motivation is not failure. It's science. And I want you to start thinking of it. Do you feel that perspective shift? Takes the pressure off of you so we can actually move forward. Okay? So if we know this, that dopamine's going to spike with novelty and anticipation and progress. And we know that dopamine's going to drop when things feel repetitive and overwhelming and maybe unclear. The brain, it releases dopamine when it senses movement forward, not perfection. Do we all sometimes feel like we got to be perfect if we're going to do it? But when we understand that, we just need to keep celebrating small wins. How do we keep signaling? How do we keep signaling progress to the brain without putting pressure on yourselves? Okay. I want to talk about the Monday motivation. Is anybody out there like me? Start again Monday, or next month, or whatever. I want you guys to think about this as an example, okay? So it's Sunday night or it's Monday morning and you're super fired up. Okay, you clean out the fridge. Let's say you've got some health goals and you're cleaning out the fridge, get rid of all the junk food. You start your meal prepping, you order your groceries, you set alarms, you write your goals. I am ready for this. I'm ready to take it on. Okay, so what's actually happening is that you've got a new plan. Okay, and that's giving you excitement. Your brain gets a dopamine spike because of the anticipation. This is new. I'm excited. I'm ready for this. And that is what is really exciting for you. You're like super on fire on day one. Okay, now by Wednesday, nothing's really new and exciting anymore, is it? Or by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, how many, I mean, gosh, you guys, I've been coaching here for 15 years. It's like the same conversation with every single person. We feel like we're the only one going through it. Why is it when we get up in the morning, we're super motivated? Oh, I do great all day until my drive home, and then I go through a drive-through, or I stop at a gas station, or I do great all week. And then it's the weekend. Does this sound familiar to anybody? This is what's happening here. Okay? Nothing is new. You're exhausted. You're emotional because you're so tired and you're not thinking clearly. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to have small wins in front of us at all times. Okay? So what's really going to work is to have structure. We're going to start focusing more on the structure, not the excitement. We're not going to go off of the motivation and the excitement. We want to start creating small, repeatable actions that don't require you to feel motivated. And it could be that you're driving home from work and normally you're going to stop at the gas station or the drive-through and pick something up. And we just say, you know what? My goal right now is I'm going to drive home. My goal right now is to put a podcast on, and I'm going to listen to that on my way home, and I'm going to finish it through. I'm going to listen to the full 30-minute podcast today. That's going to be a dopamine hit. Does that make sense? We're redirecting. It's the same goal, but we're going to create small little things in there that are going to challenge us so that we could move forward. We're not trying to keep the dopamine high, but we're trying to create steady, healthy dopamine signals so that the motivation's not going to collapse and the novelty's not going to wear off. So we're not trying to just stay excited all the time. It's not going to happen. The goal is we want to stay engaged through the process. Okay? So what we want to understand is like there's 4 ways to keep and support dopamine without feeling burnt out on your way to the goal. So again, small wins, shrink the win. This is very, very important. We're not looking at the whole goal. We're saying, how do I break it off into, what's that saying they always say, like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's what we're doing here. And this is super, super important. You want to track the progress, not the outcomes. And create gentle novelty, not like constant change. We want to celebrate all the effort, not just success, but the effort that you're putting in. Okay, because there's different ways to measure success. So instead of trying to stay motivated, we support dopamine by making progress visible. We want to continue looking at things and celebrating them. Every small win is going to keep you going. Okay, why motivation isn't reliable? Motivation's emotional and it's temporary. And we know this, right? You guys have that roller coaster of emotion. I know I do all the time. So we can't rely on that. But because stress is going to lower your motivation, poor sleep is going to lower your motivation, decision fatigue, it drains you, it drains your motivation. And this is explaining why willpower is not going to last for you. So what do we want to do when motivation is going to drop? Okay. What we normally do, we blame ourselves. We We tell ourselves like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stay consistent? And starting over feels easier. I'll just start on Monday. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week, right? This is where the cycle is going to continue. And this is where we feel stuck and we can't move forward. So if we keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's that definition of insanity. And sometimes don't we feel that way? So let's talk about what's actually going to work. And we hear structure a lot, structure versus emotion. And you guys, I'm going to tell you what, I hated hearing that in the beginning. I hated it because it's like I was so overly emotional all the time. And I'm still very emotional, but now I don't blame myself anymore. Now I'm understanding what's really happening, and that creates freedom, and it creates an opportunity to start looking at things differently and doing things differently. But I cannot encourage you enough. Please don't beat yourself up. You're going to stay stuck just like this woman in the jar. Like, that's what we feel like half the time because we're not moving forward. It's not going to serve you. Okay. So in order to move forward, we want to take a look at structure and support. That's why you're all on this call this morning. Okay. We've got a support community. We lift each other up. We know we're all going through this together. We are growing and we are learning and we're encouraging each other. Okay. Structure is going to carry you when your motivation drops. So you want to know, what are those structural pieces I can go to? Is it listening to a podcast? Is it going on a Facebook community, asking for help? Is it reaching out to a coach? Is it reaching out to a mentor or a trusted friend? Is it talking about what's my next best step so that I can move forward? Okay. Ask yourself better questions. This is where the shift is going to happen for you. So instead of saying, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stay motivated? Ask yourself, where am I right now? And what is going to support me? And understanding that you're in those phases. What can I do right now to support myself instead of what the heck is wrong with me? I'll start tomorrow. We want to do things differently this time. And the less emotional we can be about it, the more we can be clear-minded and clear-headed to move forward in what's my next best step. I want to also say, excuse me, motivation fading, it's not a signal to quit and to just give up on your goals. It's just data, it's information. Okay. And it's going to tell you that the novelty's worn off and that this is time for support. And just knowing what your support is going to be the most important to you because everybody's different. Okay. So in wrapping us up today, just understand that motivation fading, it's just a signal and it's information. It's telling you what's next. Okay. Support, support, support. And whatever it is, in whatever area it is that you want to grow in, is what's going to help you to move forward and create that sustainable change. So instead of waiting to feel motivated, try taking one small step today and let that momentum grow from there. My next 15-minute reset topic is going to be on why change feels hard, because that is what's going to help this momentum last. I'll see you in the next 15-minute reset.